What is up, everybody? Oh, I'm gonna hide this. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Theocracy. I'm your intrepid host, Theo Snodgrass. Wherever you may be, thank you for making me a part of your day. Oh, man. It's a chilly day out here in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm reaching frigid temperatures as low as 50 degrees. It's been crazy. Yeah, really tough winter out here. We're having a tough time. Oh, man. I know why you guys are happy. Kind of a slow news week, right? No, we have stuff to do. I'll tell you what we guys are going to go over. So last time, my last stream got cut short by internet issues. I thought it was Mama Susan stepping on me. It was not, actually. It was just my own. I was betrayed by my own internet the whole time. So it was actually not a huge deal, and I was being dramatic about it for no reason. So I slandered Mama Susan's name for no reason, and for that I apologize. But yeah, so today we're just gonna go over. I'm gonna finish up the Piers Morgan clips I was gonna react to before, and then but what's crazy is is I didn't finish my fucking Piers Morgan episode, and then there's another Akaash Singh update. I am bored with this story, but the algorithm rewards me every time I talk about it. So I'm going to continue to talk about it because of logistics. By the way, been getting a lot of new viewers lately, so thank you. If you are new, go ahead and like, share, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. That really helps me out. Also, the Stream Elements tip jar is in the description. So if you feel like sending me money, please do. Get some of that money up so I can sign up for YouTube Premium. That way I can do YouTube reactions without getting ads. Yeah, man, I had a productive day yesterday, though. I worked on a comic book called I Can Fix Her with my good buddy Vaughn Coleman. Shout out to Vaughn Coleman, friend of the channel. I'm working on a comic book right now, so we're going to try to have that out late 2026. Or hoping to have that out sometime late next year if everything works out good. I'm hoping. We'll see. It's too soon to really talk about that in any kind of detail right now. We're still in the editing phase of the script, but it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun to do. It's one of the coolest things I've gotten to work on is a comic book. So that's very cool. Very cool. I wish I could go back and tell my 12-year-old self what I do now. That would be fucking incredible. But he didn't know. He's still got a few more years of middle school to get through, being a little faggot. So that's fine. He can't go back in the past and tell your 12-year-old self that everything's gonna be fine. If you could. But let's check in with the chat real quick. Let's see who's coming to hang out with me here. Runaway Vagabond is here. What's up, buddy? Oh, Ronald is here. What's up, buddy? Yeah. V-Man, Vaughn Coleman. Shout out. Vaughn Coleman, friend of the channel. So I might be meeting with him later today. We'll find out. But he's been great. Oh, Strider's here. What's up, buddy? Yeah, okay. So just to catch everybody up on the Akaash Singh situation. Dude, okay. So his wife has continued to be terrible. So they finally did the episode of his podcast. Because so far he's been humiliated on his wife's podcast. He's been humiliated on his enemy's podcast. He's been humiliated on his friend's podcast. And now we gotta watch him be humiliated on his own podcast. It's just, it goes exactly how you'd expect. You know, she goes on there and I know what you're thinking. And she apologized for everything, took full responsibility, and shut down her social media. No, of course not. She took no accountability. She's not sorry for anything. And they presented the story in a way that a lot of people are finding very unconvincing. So this is the video of their podcast is tremendously disliked, and people are commenting on it that they just don't really believe them. We're just gonna go through some of the highlights. It's just sad at this point. I'm not enjoying covering this. I'm strictly speaking doing this for views. I want you to know that. I am selling out right now. Just so you know. I don't give a shit about this story anymore. Let's find out. It's just a bummer. It's just a bummer. It just bums me out. I don't. Oh, God. To be fair, the promo they shot for this was very funny. They shot like a professional wrestling style, or like kind of like a Maury style promo, and they had her coming in, and they were like acting like it was gonna be like very dramatic. And then they got these like midget security guards in there. So there's like, I initially, when I went to watch this, I thought it was going to be like good and funny and entertaining. And I thought they were going to do a great job. I was very curious about how they were going to respond, because it's like, here's the thing. It's not just embarrassing for Akaash. So cuck is one of the hardest labels to shed if you're a guy who's like famous for stuff. Like if a woman gets cheated on, or it has like a a husband who's a slut, that generally speaking works in her favor. Men, it does not work that way. Like if your wife is an unrepentant whore, that is broadly speaking considered to be bad for your reputation. If you're a woman and you get cheated on, everybody's on your side. Everybody agrees it's your husband's fault. If you're a woman and you cheat on your husband, everyone agrees that it's your husband's fault. So, or at least that it reflects badly on him. So no matter what, whether you're the cheater or the cheatee, it's not good for your reputation. But cuck in particular is one of the hardest things to shed, especially because, their podcast is very bro-y. So they've cultivated kind of like a bro-y fan base. So we're going to watch this one more time. We're going to go over this one more time. I don't really want to go over this anymore, but we're going to go over this again.
Allegedly, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, is it true that you said that there was a rotation of guys?
A roster.
Roster.
Yeah, what does a roster mean to you?
What does this mean?
You guys have to understand, have you ever heard of the repressed Catholic schoolgirl?
Never.
I have, actually. I'm something of a subject matter expert. And the phenomenon, let's just say the phenomenon she's about to describe, I find highly implausible. Go ahead.
I was, okay. So
His Catholic school was in his living room. Imagine how repressed he was.
I was a repressed Indian girl that I didn't even watch Jersey Shore in high school because I felt it to be too inappropriate. So when I got to college, I'm like, oh my God, I can dress however I want. I can do whatever I want.
You can have a roster of frat boys.
But
What does a roster mean?
so it didn't actually translate to a roster. It just meant like two guys I was talking to and flirting with at the same time. That's it.
That's all.
Yeah.
And when you say hooking up, I think people
When
think you
I
meant
mean
fucking.
hooking up, I just meant making out. Again, like everything I say is so amplified and hyperbolic because it's so like
Hold on. Hello, can people hear me? Did that work? Can people hear me? Hello? Can you guys see me now? Can you guys see me now? Can I get some feedback from the chat? Did that fix the stream or not? It looks like it did not. Bro, did my stream get dumped again? Hey, what's up, man?
You're good now.
Okay, cool.
Anyway. All right, bye.
All right, dope. Okay, that was cool. All right, guys, we fixed it, everyone. Thank you. That was fun. Thank you guys for sticking with me through that. That's, by the way, second stream in a row that's gotten fucking nuked. Or, like, middle of the thing. I don't know what's going on. I'm starting to think this is like a Talk Studio issue. Let's check in with the chat. This was like... Let's check in with the chat real quick. College is always the turning point with these stories. Yeah, okay. Here's the other thing, too, that we don't want to talk about. This is, like, not... I don't know if our, like, nation is ready for this conversation culturally. But, like, maybe taking a bunch of people at their horniest life stage and putting them in, like, little boarding schools and, like, flooding them with, like, alcohol and drugs is, like, not the smartest idea. Just, like, putting them in little, like, cesspits of degeneracy to, like, propagandize them and, like, break down all their morality. Maybe that's, like, not a good thing. Maybe that's, like, modifying people in a way that's not helpful. If we're going to teach them a bunch of nonsense about the world, we're going to make them into Marxist revolutionaries who don't know what gender they are, and we're going to create circumstances where it's very easy for them to just, like, ravenously fuck each other. You know, there's going to be, like, basically no moral standards whatsoever. It's just going to be degeneracy and debauchery. And, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't mind that so much if the education was good. But the education is just, like, it's just programming you to be a Marxist revolutionary and training you to be a barista. Which I say this all the time on the show, but you cannot unfuck that pony. Right? You cannot undo the damage of taking a bunch of people, plucking them out of bullshit middle-class obscurity, giving them a degree and telling them that makes them an aristocrat and that makes them better than everybody, and then teaching them a bunch of Marxist revolutionary bullshit, making them deeply, deeply, deeply resentful of anyone who has more than them, and then making them go be a barista. You can't undo that. You cannot undo the damage you've done to the culture. I don't know. I actually, now that, you know, this is why I like my chat, is because you guys point things out that I am actually, now I'm interested in talking about this. I'm actually interested in what I'm talking about now. I don't give a fuck about the rest of these clips. It just makes me sad. But this is a good point, though, that fucking Ronald's making here. It's like, I wonder now if, like, the degeneracy, debauchery aspect is actually part of it. Part of, like, the moral breakdown, which, you know, makes you more receptive to the propaganda because you're not acting according to the morality you were brought up with. Hopefully. I mean, I don't know how fucking millennials, I don't know how this gentle parenting thing is going to pan out, but for the most part, like, you know, I went into college with, you know, ostensibly Christian morality, and then they teach you a whole new fucking rule set, which basically boils down to whatever feels good, which is literally Lucifer's morality, by the way. Like, not for nothing. Not for nothing. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but that's literally just what Lucifer thinks is a good idea. Just whatever feels good, man. Like, are we not going to talk about that? I'll talk about it. Anyway, I don't know. That's a good point. And yeah, like, deliberately, like, separating you from your family at your horniest life stage and jamming you up with a bunch of horny people, and then giving you really easy access to alcohol and drugs and opportunities to rub your body parts together. Although I have heard that college is, like, not as poppin' in that way as it used to be. Like, apparently, like, the Gen Zers are, like, super, they're not they're not drinking and partying and going out as much. It's mostly like doing stuff on the phone. So yeah. So I mean, I don't know. That's what I've heard. I don't know if that's true. I'd have to look into that trend. But yeah, the idea of like taking you to a propaganda boarding school and then exposing you to a bunch of degeneracy is like, and I understand like there's a certain amount of like risk taking and experimenting that's like normal for young people, but it's weird that we like send our children to like debauchery boarding school and we do it knowingly, especially since it used to be like 18 was considered that's a fucking adult person. That's a grown fucking man. You could be sentenced to death. You could die for your country. 18 years old. That's a grown fucking man. You know, people just get married at 18. My father was born when my grandfather was 18. Now, he was already married. It was on purpose, ostensibly. Maybe it wasn't. I don't fucking know. Maybe the guy conceived a problem. I don't know the story. I just know what they tell me. The point is, like, that was like... At like 18 was like... Now we consider 18 to be basically an infant. You know, and we're like, here, just a bunch of just fucking horny children. We're gonna propagandize them in like a pit of degeneracy. It sounds good, and we do it knowingly. We're like, oh, that's just what you do. This is just the stage in your life when you're gonna go live in the degeneracy pit. That's weird that we do that, isn't it? Like, that's a weird thing. I don't know. Maybe this is a bit I'm working out. I don't know what's going on. This is the problem. This is why I can't get through any fucking video. This is why I have so many videos backed up, is because I'll do like fucking 15 minutes on one fucking chat. That's why. That's why I can't get through my fucking video queue. You guys keep being interesting. I'm so tired of the I was repressed and it's my excuse for acting like a whore, like you've never heard of a whore before or seen how whores act. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like this is how you wanted to act the whole time. And now it's just your opportunity. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's the thing. It's like, you can't make people want to be good. You can't make people act right when nobody's watching. And it's like, the other thing too is like, I will say, in defense of whores, just put another coin into Theo's Gonna White Knight for Women jar. In defense of whores, they're just like following like literally all of the cultural programming. So that's like literally everything from music and movies and social media and just every single thing that's being pumped into their brain is telling them to be a whore. So I can't like, it's like I get why it's happening. That doesn't mean I'm happy about it, but I get why it's happening. And I know like a lot of you are like, yeah, but can't you have like basic common sense and know not to do that? And it's like, no, you can't. Probably not. No, it's like everyone around them is doing it. So it's just like, they're just kind of herd animals. It takes a certain degree of like independent thought to be able to be like, maybe this is stupid and I shouldn't do what everyone else is doing. It's kind of like the nature of everyone else doing things. Unfortunately, it's like a human thing. And right now, the thing that fucking everyone is doing is like being a whore. So, well, yeah, but it's like that's actually a good point that like we just consider it normal. Yeah, I just went to college and decided to be a degenerate whore for a while. It's like, I don't know. Yeah, dude, I don't know what the fuck happened with my... Thank you guys, by the way, for warning me about the problems I was having. I appreciate you guys having my back. Oh, man, that was good. Yeah, Strider's weighing in. Colleges turning into brothels is a wet dream of perverted boomers who love the idea of their students engaging in lewd behavior with each other. Changed my mind. That's funny. Yeah, well, it's also, like... It's weird because you spend so much time in college, especially if you're getting a humanities degree. It's like every single class has something to do with, or this was when I went there, so it may be different now. It's probably worse now, but every single class has something to do with sex and sexuality and gender and queer people and they worm some kind of like sexuality, gender bullshit into everything. It doesn't matter what you're talking about. So it's like you spend so much time like obsessively discussing like sex, sexuality, and gender and calling it education. So weird. And it's weird because, like, theoretically, if you're getting a humanities degree, you should learn how to represent yourself really well and to speak really well and to be able to defend, your ideas. And there's really, people seem to come out of college a lot more fragile, completely unable to process ideas that don't agree with them, and not being able to really have a spirited disagreement with another person at all. This is very weird. By the way, that's actually a better fucking lead in to the debate clubs. Yeah, I actually don't want to do any more of that fucking God. I'm just gonna tell you the whole deal with the she's just not sorry about anything. She's not sorry about anything, and the comments on the podcast are fucking horrible. Let's just look at the comments on the podcast. I'll show you that. That'll be fine. Because it's just more of the same bullshit over and over and over again. So it's like, I don't know, like, how much I want to hit that, to be honest with you. Let's see. Let's get me a little bigger. There we go. All right, let's look at some of these comments. This is a flagrant episode. First of all, it has 14K likes, and I think it was at 52,000 dislikes or something like that. So people are really not feeling it. This is something that's going on broadly in comedy podcasting in general, is all the guys that are the most popular are facing a ton of scrutiny and audience backlash right now. So, like, I think people are kind of sick of it and they're looking for new content. Anyway, this is Akaash's best joke. My wife is a virgin. That's brutal. Akaash still believes her body count is 1 with a laughing face. That's rough. Flagrant must think we're Akaash levels of stupid. Oh, fuck, dude. These are the people who like their show. These are their fans. They removed the number of dislikes when it was over 53K. I'm a shy Indian girl, but I have 2 butt stories. I'm here reading the comments while the video is paused at the beginning. I'll believe there's no Epstein list before I believe this shit. It sucks, man. And this is why this is a problem. So this was the whole issue. Is that your behavior. I don't want to watch any more of this chick. I'm tired of listening to her talk. But I'm telling you, the whole point is that your bad behavior is causing a very lucrative podcast brand to tank. And that's the vehicle that makes all the money so that you could do dumb, frivolous bullshit, including your podcast that doesn't make any money, right? That's the whole point. Is like, and none of that is addressed. The closest thing I heard her say to an apology during all those clips was she was like, well, you know what? Everybody makes mistakes. It's just like, I know, but she just doesn't, no, she's just like not sorry at all. That's the whole punchline. I don't want to fucking deal with this. She's not sorry at all. She's not interested in, having any kind of meaningful discussion if it's gonna like save the brand or whatever. I don't know. I guess what was bothersome to me is like they thought this was like the best idea they could come up with was to just. It's weird to me that they thought more of her was gonna make her more likable. That's, I think, the tricky part. There's some people you need to see them less. That makes them more likable. She's definitely one where if we had seen her, here's the thing. I had a very high opinion of Akaash's wife when I had never heard her speak, because I only heard him talk about her. And he speaks very well of her. Now that I've heard her speak, I feel very differently. You see what I'm saying? Like, some people are better the less you hear them talk. And she's definitely in that category. I would say I would rate this response a 0 out of 10. I don't think anybody's buying it. I think that, by the way, the biggest winner in all of this is fucking Myron Gaines, because it's validating his entire worldview. He gets to watch one of his, most hated enemies burn in flames. Man, yeah, and I guarantee you Myron's going to get new viewers off of this. For sure. So. Oh, God. Just a fucking horrible day. Just a horrible day. Remember, kids, say no to thoughts. Yeah. Anyway, it's awful. Oh man. Kind of like you, Theo. Yeah, actually, that's true. I am also one of the big winners from this situation because I got a bunch of new viewers as well. So, thank you to Akaash's slut wife. Thank you. Thank you for continually running your mouth. Remember, kids, say no to thoughts. Say no to thoughts. It's not good. And Akaash, if you're watching, I would love to open for you sometime if you're ever in Vegas. Take you out. I'll introduce you to some friends of mine. I'm sure we can find somebody better, bro. I'm sorry, respectfully. By the way, there's betting odds. You could actually place a bet online on whether there's a 50-50 odds they're going to get divorced before 2027 right now. So those are the betting odds. So that's kind of gnarly. Not good. Not good. And I don't know. I guess them trying to just laugh everything off is just wildly unconvincing. I don't know. We'll do like maybe a couple more of these. I don't want to do too many more. Yeah, this. Okay, I'm gonna show this one because this one's fucking weird. This is just. Tell me what you guys think of this. Oh wait, you guys can't see it. Never mind. There we go.
Like, even then, I was like, no, the fuck. She's all talk. She's all bluster. That's why I haven't tested the hand job thing.
Paper tiger.
She's our dog. She's a yapping little dog behind a fence. Nothing's gonna happen. There's no bite. He's all bark, no bite.
So you would say that, but in reality, if he actually did go get
Okay,
it.
like let me think about it. If you actually
think
did
about
go
it.
get it, yes, like I think it would bother me.
Oh, she's talking about him getting like a happy ending massage. So that's what she's talking about. Go ahead. And she's saying, broadly speaking, that she's okay with it because like it's less work for her if she doesn't have to touch his penis. Go ahead, sweetheart.
Like 30%, but I feel like 70% I'd be like, okay, whatever. I put you through a lot the past couple weeks.
Like he deserves it.
I feel like I owe it to you.
I do kind of deserve it.
Yeah.
Yes. And we're going to be supporting
But she
that.
just
We are
can't be
so close
prettier
to
than
Chinatown.
Going to do it.
Who could be prettier than you?
Wait, she can't be prettier than you.
Yeah, she just can't be
Yeah,
prettier than
yeah. I mean, that's not gonna. Yeah, unless you go.
That's not gonna happen.
Yeah, it's gonna be an old Chinese lady.
My
Okay, that's
justification
okay.
for the hand. It's emotionless, and it's
It's just like a little thing after a massage. Sure, okay.
yeah, that's great. I'm on
fine.
board.
Yeah.
High five.
I also like the fact that it's just less work for you.
Yeah.
And I know your day is full of work.
Like even
I don't even. Yeah, I mean, that's just fucking Jesus. I don't want to watch any more of these. No, I'm done with this. So I'll talk about the other weird part. So there's a part where he was actually trying to give her props, and there's a part of me that admires the degree to which this man is willing to stick up for his wife. He was trying to give her props and being like, whenever I go out on the road and I come back, the house is always clean. And she was like, yeah, I hire somebody to do that. And he was like, without telling me? They actually couldn't. They actually didn't have time to address it. But yeah, oh God. Oh God. Just horrible. Just horrible. I don't even want to. Oh God, it's just awful. It's just excruciating to get through. I'm not enjoying it, by the way. Yeah, it's yeah, I guess just go watch the rest of the podcast if you're interested. It's fucking horrible. She comes off very not persuasive at all, or interesting, or convincing. It seems pretty clear. And they're also both taking passive-aggressive shots at each other the whole time, but it's like very... Like, there's just a ton of unresolved tension in the room. You can just tell. They don't, like, there's... I understand that they're trying to, like, put together a certain perception so that they could, like, salvage the audience or, like, salvage the brand. I don't know where they go from this. Like, I don't know how they actually recover. I think this is going to be significant permanent damage to Akaash Singh's reputation. I think what's really challenging about this is that a lot of people had not heard of him It's like I've been like tapped into the ecosystem because I got jacked into this story early because it overlaps with a lot of things that I follow. And the story went from I watched it go from comedian's wife, blah 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 blah, to Akaash Singh, blah 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 blah, right? So there's a lot of people that are hearing about Akaash Singh for the first time because of this. Yikes. Not good. Not how you'd want to be introduced. What really upsets me about this is that I watched his special because a lot of people were shitting on his special after this and saying it was bad. His special is good. Akaash Singh is good at comedy. Like, especially his like crowd work with Indian people is like he has like almost psychic levels of pattern recognition. It's actually very impressive. Like the dude is like that's what's a huge fucking bummer is that I wish he was like known for that instead of. This is a huge bummer because I actually do think he's good at comedy. So, ugh, gross. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm done with this. This makes me feel physically ill. And I don't want to do it anymore. I want to get through the rest of my Piers Morgan reactions, actually. So that's where we're going to shift gears here. So I want to do that because I was actually enjoying talking about that. That was fun. Anyway, so for those of you that don't know, Piers Morgan was on Surrounded. And it was him versus a bunch of dorks. And so we're going to watch them. And I said yesterday, or last time I tried to talk about this before my stream cut out again. Jesus Christ, I've been having so many problems lately with that. Anyway, the point is, what I said then is what I'll reiterate now. The cool thing about Piers Morgan debating a bunch of woke dorks is that Piers Morgan is also a dork. So the reason these are good clips to break down is because there's a strong likelihood that basically there's twice as much opportunities for a dork to say something dorky because everyone involved is a dork. I don't have a dog in this fight. I hate everyone who's talking. So that's going to be fun for me. So we're going to talk about it and we're going to dive in and we're going to see what the woke dorks are saying. And remember, these are the best people these are the best people they could find to do this. So we're going to take it apart. I think what we're going to expect to see is we're going to see a lot of the dishonest tactics that leftists use. And Piers Morgan is also, he does this like cable news thing where he just like chronically interrupts people, which is super annoying. But that's just like in the era of cable news that he evolved in. That was just like how discussions were had. It's super fucking annoying. It's just god awful. It's terrible, but it is what it is. Yeah, so we're going to hopefully see some of the dishonest argument tactics that the leftist dorks are going to use, and we're going to see how they kind of mush together. And yeah, let's check it out. Let's start with this first one. God, that is a hard person to look at. I'll be honest with you. We try to avoid comments on that. I don't think this is who's talking. This is just like that's a tough screenshot, man. Anyway, go ahead.
How are you?
Good to see you.
What's your name?
Parker.
Parker, I'm Piers.
I've been on your show, bro.
Yes, I thought I recognized you. Everything's a calamity. Everything's a problem. Has to be overanalyzed,
No one said
over-dissected,
that.
over-therapized. And I just think you've all got to be given the mental tools to deal with ordinary life. Ordinary life.
We already have them.
Ordinary
I actually
life.
have gone
Let me
to
tell
therapy
you.
to do that.
Ordinary
Have
life.
you?
Yeah, but without going to therapy.
Yeah, so this is the leftist presupposition that going to therapy is necessary to be a normal person, and that if you've been to therapy, you're more evolved than someone who hasn't. And Piers is like, well, you shouldn't need therapy just to do normal stuff, which is how like most people here, like Piers comes from a reputation where therapy was for crazy, or a generation where therapy is for crazy people, and like the leftist presupposition is that therapy is like necessary just to like be a regular person. So they're like, if you've been to therapy, you're like somehow more enlightened, which is, by the way, it just seems really obvious to me that they're using therapy as like a substitute for a religious ritual, something like the sacrament of confession or something like that. Something where you're going in and you're talking to. Therapist is like a magic word on the left. When they talk about therapists, they're talking about wizards. You listen to the way they talk about them. It's like a magical person that just like knows all the answers. You know, oh, they know the things, and they have to because they have to put their faith in something, right? So therapist becomes like a like a plug-in religious ritual that's doing all the heavy lifting of like something like the sacrament of confession is supposed to do, except for instead of going in, confessing what you've done wrong and hearing what you should do better in the future and how you can make up for it, you're going in and you're hearing how all of your feelings are valid and how you're right about everything. And somehow, and how everything that bothers you is someone else's fault, which, by the way, that's called an externalized locus of control. If you believe that everything that bothers you is someone else's fault, you're going to be extremely anxious and miserable. That's just like how your life will be. Sorry, because like then you don't have any agency. You don't have any ability to affect your circumstances. And that's the real casualty. This is the reason you have to take accountability for shit, is because if you don't, then your life is unlivable. You're just terrified all the time. Even for shit that's like not your fault, you have to take responsibility and ownership of it. This is very hard to explain to people who are committed to being victims, which most of the people that Piers is going to talk to are committed to being victims. So let's go ahead and see what else they have to say.
All the time.
Wait, what's your solution? What's your solution?
People, I think at school and colleges, we need to reinforce, this comes back to masculinity with men. We need to reinforce the mental tools required for life.
Such as?
Well, I can tell you when I can chart the absolute...
Did you always being like super snide? Like, such as... If you just said nothing, Piers would have just said... He could have just let him finish talking. Right? But he's got to... Because remember, none of these people are trying to have meaningful discussions. They're trying to get cool clips for social media. Because if they get a viral clip of them dunking on some conservative blowhard, then that could be really good for their career. So they're all just trying to have like a viral moment. You know, so they're all just trying to be like as snarky and pithy as possible. It's like they're not trying to have a substantive discussion, which is why shit like this is infuriating when like long form podcasting exists. I don't know what fucking retard decided that this was like the best format to have political discussions. It's like, I think it was Dan Soder said that like everything is bukkake now, and that this is like debate bukkake. And it's like, because it needs to be extreme and it needs to be constantly changing, or else people are not going to pay attention. So he called it debate bukkake, which is not my joke. That's a very funny joke, not my joke. But yeah, it's kind of a debate gangbang, and it's just fucking why. Like, you're just not going to have a good substantive discussion this way. But it's good for us to analyze, because we can, you know, very often if you find yourself in discussions with leftists, they'll use a lot of these same tactics. So that might be fun.
Percent of this in the wrong way. And I think it began in America, when you started giving kids participation prizes for coming last at sport. Absolute shambles. I mean, whoever thought of that?
How does this have to do with actually like men making their emotions better
I'm
off?
explaining.
It's participation trophies. Oh my gosh.
I'm explaining.
Right. So do you guys see the connection? I'm assuming you see the connection between shielding someone from the consequences of losing in childhood when the stakes are low means they can't handle the consequences of failure in adulthood when the stakes are higher. And so, because they've never really they haven't been conditioned or exposed to setbacks or difficulties, then when they encounter them in adulthood, when it counts, they're probably going to freak out emotionally. Right? We all agree. That's the logical conclusion. You know what's crazy is this little prepubescent snot that Piers Morgan is talking to. He also knows that. He's pretending to not know something obvious. It's incredibly frustrating, but leftists will do this all the time. This is so common. They'll pretend not to understand something obvious, and then they'll be like, ooh, like you're the one who's retarded. Yeah, but they're pretending not to know something. There's another, I've never heard of that. I'm not familiar with that. No. Like, that is a snide dodge of them not knowing something. Like, that's the super simple A to B logical train, right? And that Piers would have been happy to lay out if he hadn't interrupted, just to be a snide dick cheese about it. But this is just this is just horrible. It's just horrible. It's not good. It's like not any. It's crazy because we're choosing to do this in a world where long form podcasting exists. It would be so much better for like human discussion if we yeah, let's review the chat real quick. What they did was disprove her saying she won't kiss with this podcast. Yeah, that's one of the things they talked about on the show. Is like it's really difficult to believe when she talks so much shit about being a whore and like all this stuff and like making out with dudes and all this stuff. It just makes it hard to believe. It seems like she's super cool fucking around with dudes and she's super into it as long as it's not her husband. That's really what it sounds like. Just made it horrible. Just made it horrible. Just made it horrible. So it's like, yeah, there's just like no consistency to the story. She's just retarded. Fuck out, this is painful. Yeah. Yeah, it's just like it's not the kind of thing a woman would say if she was like super concerned about her, really gave that much of a shit about her husband. It's horrible to watch. Ugh. Oh, Samael the Infamous is here. What's up, buddy? Friend of the channel, Samael the Infamous. Go ahead and check him out on Screaming Into the Void. Pretty cool stuff. Jubilee is trash TV, and the debate spear is masochist circle jerking. Howdy, Theo. Yes, very much. It's garbage. It's like the Jerry Springerification of the discourse. And it's the same thing that this is kind of like what the Fresh and Fit podcast did to the discourse between men and women. And although to be fair, the discourse between the right and the left wasn't that good before that. Like cable news was doing us no favors in our ability to talk to each other. Like the echo chambers were still well under construction, and people were in the habit of just like yelling at each other on TV for views. So this is just particularly horrible. This is something that we talked about. Is like, so all these people who are like surrounding him, are these the most creative, interesting, compelling, outside the box political thinkers they could find, or are they people who just knew how to repeat the right talking points? Like, are these, are we having like substantive discussions between people that are gonna, oh no, why am I frozen? No, there we go. Okay, I'm back. Cool. Let's see.
Because if young people are conditioned to think that if you come last at something, you get a prize, it is the worst possible preparation for the real world.
So what's the actual
Because,
solution?
Parker,
You're just telling a
Parker,
problem again.
do you want-
Problem. What's the solution?
Parker, if I could finish my sentence.
Start with the
The
solution.
solution is you to stop talking for a moment, right?
How about you actually provide
Right?
a solution? All
No,
you've done
Parker,
is bring about problems.
Parker, I've just given you a solution. I want
That's
more.
not a solution. That's a
Yes,
problem.
you stop participation prizes. You condition kids to deal with the real world when they become adults.
Your fix
Otherwise,
for
when they
men
get
not having the ability to
Stop
express their emotions
talking,
in a
Parker.
positive way is
Parker.
literally participation
God, I wonder
trophies not
Jordan-
being.
Yeah, see how he's just like, he's continuing to talk while pretending to not understand the point that he's making. So he's talking over him, trying to explain the point, while at the same time pretending that he doesn't understand. So this is actually like two leftist techniques in one. The talk over you while you're trying to have a substantive discussion, and the pretend not to understand the point. Right, so that's actually 2 for 1, and the snide. Oh, oh, you like that tone where they say everything, where everything out of your they're insinuating that they are an enlightened metropolitan citizen, and that you are an uncultured yokel. Although it doesn't work as well if the person you're talking to has a British accent. I'll be just point that out. Yeah, and by the way, that's a super, like, this is like classic, very, very, very simple to understand classic wisdom that people have been talking about since the 1990s, and like it's like, I don't know, I don't think anyone could like seriously make a claim. It's not that the argument he's making is particularly complex or nuanced or hard to understand, or like I don't understand why this is challenging for him, which leads me to the conclusion that he's pretending not to understand it on purpose. Let's see. Whatever podcast is Jerry Springer without the class? Very true. Very true. It's just, or the talent too. I think the thing that bothers me the most about the Whatever podcast, all things considered, is that like Brian Atlas is just genuinely not an interesting host, and he's not that good at talking to women. Like, he's just not actually good at talking to women, and he's not a charismatic or interesting host, and he has like one of the most popular podcasts in the world, which is like infuriating, but also like, hey man, he's the one who came up with the idea to gentrify the Fresh and Fit podcast. So, I mean, if you are the first to, not the first to come up with an idea, but the first to gentrify an idea, that's really how you make money in America. You gotta take something black people are doing and make it more palatable. That's how you make money in America. Shout out to Elvis Presley, friend of the channel. So that's what he did. He just like Elvis Presley, the Fresh and Fit podcast. And he didn't do any of the intellectual legwork to build out the theories. He's just repeating shit that other people talked about. There's nothing original or interesting or compelling that comes from the show. It just makes the lives of everyday men and women worse. Especially like young people who like that's their. There's a lot of guys where like that's their most of their experience for women comes with clips from shows like that. That's like mostly what they know about women is just clips of women being horrible because they don't talk to women in real life. So you're just like making the discourse worse. And also say what you want about Jerry Springer. Jerry Springer is very talented. He's very good at what he does. He's a very compelling, charismatic, interesting host. You can say he's not a good person and that his show was bad for America, and I'll go for that. But at least he had something that could meaningfully be described as talent in a way that like Brian Atlas does not. So let's see. Piers' solutions are cut and dry, but this pretentious prick won't accept it. Yeah, because if he understands the point, then he has to address it. You see that? If he acknowledges that he's understood the point, then he has to offer a counter argument, and there's not a meaningful... By pretending he doesn't see the connection, like, you're being stupid and saying something that's ridiculous and off topic. And since what you're saying is so ridiculous, I don't have to address it. I can just sit here and look at me. I'm right. Ha, 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 ha. And then if you're talking to, like, an audience that derives their opinion from consensus, mockery is super important. Because it's like, look, us, the out group, we're so right that it's obvious to the point that it's funny. And the people on the out group are their opinions are so silly, we don't even have to address them. We can just like mock them. This is like shaming as an argument tactic, basically. And this is why one of the reasons that we have so many young people that are like fascism curious and anti-Semitism is coming back in a big way, and all these things from like, it's like the politics of the 1930s has like made a comeback, is because of leftists doing stuff like this, using shaming as an argument tactic instead of like having the substantive disagreements. And actually like saying substantively what's wrong with a position. They don't do that. They just like shame you for saying it. And this is kind of like downstream of like the wokeness and the cancellation and all that stuff. All that stuff. Like that doesn't actually deal with an idea. Like that, like cancellation does not deal with an idea. Cancellation, you know, it just... especially in the age of the internet where people can retreat to their echo chambers and fortify. And then they'll come out and they'll be just like rattling off facts and they don't have anything other than... Because when the shame stops working, when calling somebody a racist doesn't shut them up anymore, then you have to actually like make an argument. And because leftists have been doing what this person is doing, just like being snide and being like, you're stupid, and using mockery and shame and so on. They're kind of in a position now where a lot of leftists do not know how to substantively argue at all in a way that's effective. It's really tough. Yeah, so they're in a tough position. Very tough position. And it's not just that their views on culture war issues, they are illogical, but because they did not use logic to derive their positions, that doesn't concern them. So anyway, so that's why he's making this completely reasonable point, and he's just getting talked over and snickered at like he's an idiot. Go ahead.
Biggest advantage is so annoying. Look,
have you been on your own show?
Parker.
You interrupted me the whole time, and now you're just getting the same thing.
Well, because you
You're
never
just
stop talking.
Don't,
You're
don't
like
be
a
mad.
robot.
Don't be mad.
Parker.
Are you mad?
There is are you mad? That's a good one. By the way, I know why this. By the way, why this is annoying so much is this is what it's like to argue with women. He's like using the techniques that your craziest girlfriend used on you, like deliberately provoking you and trying to upset you, and being like, "Are you mad? Oh, are you mad? Are you mad? Are you mad? Are you mad?" That's like what a woman with borderline personality disorder will do in a fucking emotional argument. She'll say some horrible shit to try to provoke you, and then be like, "Why are you so upset?" Like that's like they're like, it's really, oh my god, it's just like it's really scary for me when you get upset like this. I think you need to calm down. You clearly have a lot to think about. You know, like that's why this is so annoying. Because as annoying as it is when women do that, it is just unpalatable when men do it. And remember, this is completely dodging the point that he is trying to pivot from this is actually another version of the shame-based argument, actually. But he's pivoting from, remember what he did. He pretended not to understand the point. Then he made fun of the point that he did not understand. And now he's trying to cause Piers to have an emotional reaction. Or to insinuate that Piers is too emotional to be making a rational point. So remember, at no point in here did he meaningfully address any of the substantive points that Piers brought up.
No, I'm trying to finish my sentence.
It's okay.
Parker, come on, calm down. You're shaking.
I'm totally calm.
Parker.
I'm not shaking at all.
Parker, you're shaking.
I'm not shaking. Why do you have to act like I'm? Why do you have to say something delusional to try to deflect away from the fact that you haven't addressed anything meaningful here?
Christ,
So I think there's a really good chance that this guy is dependent on Adderall. I can't prove it, but you know, like there's a lot of twitchy people in the YouTube debate streams space, all the debate live streamers, a lot of twitchy people strongly suspect that Adderall plays a role. Not saying, not proof, I'm not a doctor, you know, not even a drug dealer, but you know, that is my suspicion as to where all this twitchiness is coming from. Go ahead.
Parker.
I'm sorry, bro. I love rage baiting you.
I don't mind. I love it. As you know, I literally spend my entire life debating. It's no problem.
You're actually rage baiting. You don't debate.
It's fine. At some point, I need to finish a sentence.
That was just like, that wasn't like a productive dialogue between adults. That was just deeply unpleasant. You know, like what was the point of that? What was the point of putting that on film? All right, go ahead. We're going to do another one. We're just going to go to the next clip. I just don't know, like, why is Jubilee doing this? Like, what are they... Is this ostensibly to improve the discourse? Because here's the thing. What's crazy about Jubilee, too, is they're so litigious. So if anybody tries to, like, take their content and, like, react to it and respond to it, which would ostensibly be contributing to the discourse, they are, like, vicious about taking people's shit down. The last time I did one of these reactions, I had my channel my stream kept getting taken down over and over and over and over again. That's what, even though I was like, you know, taking forever and talking a punch between clips, you know, kind of like I'm doing now. So let's see.
Fascistic.
So woke liberal ideology is fascistic. Let's find out. I would actually say wokeness is fairly illiberal because classical liberalism, like freedom of expression and freedom of inquiry, is central to classical liberalism. It's really important. The system doesn't function without it. And so wokeness is inherently against free inquiry and against free expression. So that's illiberal. I'm going to go... You're shaking. I'm using that. Yeah, and it's probably going to be true. It's probably going to be true. As a former drug user, I concur. Appreciate it, buddy. Appreciate it, buddy. Friend of the channel, drugs. All right. Let's go. All right, go ahead.
How are you?
Good to meet you, Piers.
Good to meet you. What's your name?
I promise, Mason.
Mason.
I do not mean this as an insult.
No, please,
You
fire
seem
away.
way more comforting in person. Like you look taller on your show. Like, and you have this like very
Hang on,
like.
I'm 6'1". What are you talking about?
I reject the idea of wokeness just because wokeness again is used as that insult that is elevated from
honestly,
different insults that have been thrown in the past.
Respectfully, I think wokeism has become one of the worst scourges in the world.
Yeah, because I think
it's
that there's been
become-
a successful campaign to basically
led by the woke left.
No, it has been to attach all of these pejoratives to a idea of emancipation from silenced groups. That's the idea.
Emancipation for silenced groups. That's a new one. I haven't heard that one. Have you guys heard that one? I haven't heard that one. What does emancipation for silenced groups mean in this context? That's interesting. So it's a bunch of negative ideas. I don't know about you guys, but my problem with woke people has been the things that they say and do. Right? Like I don't think it's like slanderous propaganda that has been fed to me. It's just like listening to them talk and thinking about the things that they advocate for, and then watching what they say and do. That's what's turned me against woke people. I don't know about you. Sound off. Let me know what you think. But that's what's been I don't think it's a propaganda campaign that turned me against wokeness. It could be. I could be wrong.
Silent about
the idea that we should bring people to the table.
Any of you.
No.
Ever. You never stop.
That's why I hear so much about cancel culture, about how everybody's getting canceled when they're millionaires with podcasts that talk about this shit every day.
The best quote I have in my book, Woke is Dead, and clearly it's still slightly alive here, but the best quote, I had an Australian woman come up to me in the streets in London, and she said, Mr. Morgan, do you mind if I just say something about these wokies? I went, sure. She said, they just want to suck all the joy out of life. And I went, God, you're so right. That's exactly what they do.
What is the joy that you're sucking out? Stopping saying slurs is sucking out the joy of life?
Yes. Yes, he gets it. If you stop me from saying slurs, I will enjoy my life less. That's right. He gets it. See, I'm telling you, we are starting to win them over. We're starting to win, guys. They're getting it. They're getting it. But by the way, that's obviously not what Piers meant in this situation. And you see how he jumped straight there? Because, like, that's the thing is, like, woke people are like, you only want free speech so that you can say ethnic slurs. And it's like, no, I also want to talk about the government. I would also like to say slurs while we're at it. I think we should go back to a more open and free system as far as slurs go, for sure. But yeah, like I don't know, but he means that clearly as an insult, but it's also a pejorative. It's like, that's the thing. It's like anybody who expresses any concern about free speech, they'll just jump straight to, oh, so you just want to be able to say the N-word with impunity. And it's like, what? Free speech is like an important, like, foundation. You cannot maintain you cannot maintain any kind of functioning liberal democracy of any kind without free speech and free inquiry. Otherwise, they just go to rot. It's central. It's central to maintaining a free society in which the government derives its authority from the will of the people. It's central to that idea. If you're it doesn't matter what your system, if it's parliamentary, if it's constitutional republic, if it's a whatever the fuck it is. If you do not have free speech and free inquiry under that system, it does not function. That's it. It's like, and so it's like, oh, so you just want to say the N-word. It's like, that doesn't have anything to do with it. It's like, of course I do, but that doesn't have anything to do with it. It's not what I'm talking about here. The system doesn't function. And it's like, but that's the thing. It's like, I don't know. I think what's crazy is, like, I think most conservative people are perfectly comfortable being polite in public. It's actually, woke people are way more likely to say something disgusting and offensive publicly than conservative people. Most conservative people are just like, well, I'm not going to talk about religion. I'm not going to talk about politics. And I'm not going to talk about, I'm just going to be polite to people that I don't know. And then I'm going to go the fuck home. And woke people are just like, they'll just like be in the line at fucking Walmart talking shit. Like, they don't care. They're just like saying their opinions openly. And they've got their fucking like buttons and shit. Like, they don't care. Like, they don't care. Like, they're way more likely. It's weird. It's like, and the point of it, by the way, is just the point of it is to shut up their opposition. They want to be able to continue to say whatever they want that agrees with their worldview. But what they want is to have a convenient recourse to jump to shut down people who think differently than they do. That's what's central to this. And so that's why he's jumping to that. Like, oh, if you advocate for free speech, then you are a bad person. There. That's what they're trying to do here. Yeah. Let's go ahead. And so basically, what's so interesting about that is the point they're debating is whether or not that's fascistic. And Strider correctly points out here, policing speech and any state regulations of the minutia of behavior is absolutely fascistic. It's like, yeah, that's kind of right. So police, because the point of controlling what people say is it's an attempt to control what people think. Because if you are limited to really thinking about in detail the things that you have words to express. And so if they can get you to adopt politically correct speech, then they can exert and politically correct behavior, then they can exert control. And if they can make you so afraid to violate it that you even continue the norms in private. And I've seen this when I've hung out with woke people, and it's a bunch of woke people at a party, and everybody, like, I've seen the constant virtue signaling and the like randomly interjecting politics into the discussion when it doesn't belong. And if somebody says something, like usually me, they'll be like, that's problematic. And I'm like, all right. Because they can't cancel me. They can't cancel me. They can't do anything to me. There's no HR department in comedy, you know? And it's like any attempt to cancel me is just going to make me look cooler to the people that like me, which is really cool. That's one of the cool things about cultivating this kind of audience is like if I got canceled, if it was like if you guys heard a report that said Theo Snodgrass, caught saying homophobic slurs outside a comedy club, you guys would be like, nice. Like that wouldn't hurt me at all. That wouldn't hurt me at all. If anything, like, the fact that I've been banned from comedy venues as a badge of honor, I'm proud of that. And I'm blessed most comedians have no one who gives a shit about what they're doing for the most part. And I'm blessed to have some people who give like a little bit of a shit, enough of a shit to like tune in when I do stuff, which I appreciate. Most people who do comedy have no one. So I have a few people, which I appreciate. But yeah, like that's the cool thing about that is like you can't cancel me. But that's the thing is like leftists live in constant fear, even in private. How is that not fascism? How is that not, That's exactly what he's talking about. Anyway, go ahead. Yeah, let's see. Let's go ahead. Actually, this is good. We've got some good chats here. Yeah, by the way, Samuel, I didn't call this joke out at the time, but this this was excellent comic timing. This was right after he asked, "Oh, so you're saying that if you can't say slurs, life is less joyful for you?" And it's like, yes! You finally get it. Finally get it. Yeah. That's the problem in a nutshell. The woke are uncouth and impolite by nature. Yes, they're gross, dude. What's crazy is like they act like conservatives are just repulsive. And yet conservatives uphold standards when it comes to hygiene, when it comes to polite behavior, when it comes to morality, when it comes to what constitutes hard work, what your responsibility is to your community and stuff like that. Conservative people are way more likely to have standards across all those categories and to be like contributing citizens. It's like a lot of woke people are just like, I can't work because of my anxiety. Give me free Pringles. And that's what they do. And they don't have good hygiene and they smell and they're like rapidly promiscuous and they're rude and they just talk about dildos all the time. I may just be talking about woke comedians at this point. I don't know if this is like every woke person or if this is just like woke comedians, which, by the way, I cannot stand. And I'm not talking about comedians on the left, which is fine. I'm talking explicitly about woke comedians, which is not the same thing. God, I hate that shit. It's fundamentally because it's cowardly. They're doing it because they're trying to get this. They don't give a shit about being funny. They just want this. Yes. Yes. That's what they want. I want laughs. In order to get authentic laughs, you have to take some risks and live dangerously. You have to risk saying something that upsets your audience. You have to say something dangerously true. And woke people are incapable of doing that. So they'll do it just to like get the approval of the group, not because they authentically believe those things. Because no one is retarded enough to authentically believe those things absent social pressure. Absent someone no one would arrive at these conclusions naturally if they were not gaslighted into it by social pressure. This is why I never get through my fucking videos, by the way, because I do take one comment and I do like 15 minutes on it. All right. Theo Snodgrass caught doing homosexual acts outside of comedy club. Wait, hold on. Wait. All right, take it easy, Samael. Good one. Have a good day at work, buddy. Conservatives are better people, period. Yeah, they're certainly better citizens. And, you know, I think that's like, this is, by the way, downstream of the do whatever you want, do whatever feels good, do whatever makes you happy. And everything that negatively affects your life is outside of your control. So you might as well just give in to nihilism and flop around and, you know, give up because who cares? Like, one of the tenets of, I'll give you a good example of this. One of the tenets of body positivity is that intentional weight loss is impossible. Literally, they believe that. Like, because there's some data that suggests if you do a crash diet, it's hard to maintain it. It's hard to keep weight off that way. It's like, yeah, no, it is. But it's like, I've lost 70 pounds and I did it on purpose. And it took a long time. And I did it because I changed my whole diet and lifestyle. I was very sedentary. I became very active. I ate very excessive calories that came from mostly fast food. And I started eating food that I made at home for myself in a normal amount to maintain a healthy body weight. And I did that for a couple of years. Like, I just changed the whole way I did everything. Like, if you move more and eat better stuff in smaller quantities, then your weight will change. It's like I'm not saying you should like starve yourself, but like if you go on a crash diet, then because you're trying to lose weight in a certain period of time, then like, yeah, that's not going to work. If you go on some kind of crazy elimination diet, it's not going to work. So that's not surprising. You have to change the whole way you do everything because like your habits are what made you fat. So if you want to get unfat, you have to change your habits. But it's literally a tenet of the movement that intentional weight loss is impossible. Which is, by the way, that's just like, okay, so it's outside of my control that I'm fat, so I might as well just do whatever I want. And I'll just eat whatever I want because it feels good. And I'll just like not move all day because it feels good. It's like, that's stupid. And that disempowers people. It's a philosophy that disempowers people because it takes away their ability to take any accountability, any control, and which takes away their agency. It's fake compassion. You see that? Because it's like saying it's not your fault. That sounds compassionate. But it also takes away your agency because now you can't do anything about it if it's all about things that are outside of your control. Anyway, but this guy's like, what were we talking about? Enforcing speech. Yeah, enforcing speech. So I think conservatives see, like, okay, if you see trash on the ground in your neighborhood, like, I think it's like you should, you know, if you have the impulse to pick it up, that's a good thing. But if you see trash in your neighborhood, there's a couple ways you can think about that. You could be like, I could pick up this trash, put it in a trash can. Now my neighborhood's a little cleaner. I did my tiny little part. I even went a little above and beyond my responsibility because it's not my job, but now my neighborhood's a little cleaner. Everyone benefits that. I contributed in my own way. Okay, fair enough. You took responsibility. You saw a problem. You went out. You did your little part to make it better. You could also look at trash and be like, look at the systemic injustice that has resulted in this littering. Someone should do something about it. Someone should petition the government to form a committee to go on a fact-finding mission, to file a motion at a city council meeting, to have to form another committee, an exploratory committee, to think about potentially appointing someone to pick up this trash. Someone should do something. Not me, though, because that would involve me doing work, and I have anxiety. You see how those are two things to think about? Those two ways to think about the problem of the trash on the sidewalk, right? And one of them is like useful and good and pro-social, and one of them is retarded. You see that? Like, that's the difference. That's the difference. And they don't see it. They see that as like good. They see them as like good and virtuous, and you are a bad person, which is crazy. I mean, that's how they see it. At the end of the day, like, you just can't rely on other people to, like, you can't rely on other people to help you. Like, you got to do your own shit. And what's crazy, what's so crazy about it, this is something I've learned in my life. And so this is a free one. It's a little bit of free wisdom from Theo for you younger guys. Okay. The more I took responsibility for my own bullshit and just started helping myself without expecting anything, the more people came out of the woodwork wanting to help me. If you're just a whiner, no one's going to want to help you. But if you're actually trying, even if you're like flailing and floundering and doing a terrible job helping yourself, and you're just doing a bad job, like you just suck at, you can't get out of your own way, you keep tripping over your own dick, but you keep getting up and trying and doing a little better and just doing the best you can, people will come out of the woodwork to help you. People love it when people are actually trying, especially if they're trying and fucking up a lot. And they're just like doing their best, but they like suck. And they keep tripping over their own dick. People love that shit, you know? Because then they feel good when things start going better for you. So people will come out of the woodwork. And the more you try to help yourself, the more people will come out of the woodwork to help you. So, you know, do that. So just like handle your own bullshit. Just like that's the thing. A lot of leftists just want to whine and shake their fist at the sky, and people don't like that because they look at you as like lazy and entitled. And whether that's fair or not, it's probably true that they have like fucking anxiety or type 2 diabetes or whatever the fuck they're bitching about this week. It is true that like being fat makes your life harder. You know, that's true. Okay, good point. But like at the end of the day, no one gives a shit. Figure your shit out. Anyway. All right. What were we talking about? I think speech codes is what we were talking about. There we go.
You want to say slurs that bad?
I don't want to say slurs.
Well, that's like.
But you are collectively the most joyless group of people to ever walk
I'm pretty
on God's
joyful.
earth.
I'm smiling. I came in cracking jokes.
My advice is,
I could get a beer with you.
My advice for all of you is,
I think you need to relax a little bit.
Collectively, a bit of. I know you love a bit of Zen. Zen, calm down. Take a chill pill, right? See the funny side of life.
I'm pretty chill.
Respect other people's opinions. Respect my right to have different opinions.
I think that you've dressed this like nightmare scenario around you, and then you start cowering. No, then you start cowering at the own demons that you set up. It's funny that like are
you
the
see
wokies?
Me cowering?
Are the
Am I
wokies
cowering in this room?
You're saying they're the joyless
I've come
people.
sat in the middle of 20 hardcore.
They are
woke
joyless.
lefties.
They're ruining the joy of
Am I
life.
cowering?
They're sucking out the happiness. They're sucking out the happiness of society. That's the idea.
I don't cower.
You're saying the happiness is being sucked out by woke people.
I think you're just a joyless bunch. You should lighten up a bit.
That's an insane overgeneralization. That's
okay. All right. So I don't know. I think that's exactly right. It's a good eye. That's a good eye, Strider. He did the same thing. Calm down, you bad not. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And what's I think infuriating about that is it's upsetting to me to hear a man in a political debate use the tactics that your craziest ex-girlfriend would use on you. Like, but at no point did Piers seem like he was like emotionally dysregulated to the point that was necessary. And even if he was actually mad, that would not be a good way to handle it. But again, all they've got is like taunting and shaming. They don't actually have a way to meaningfully deal with the discussion or meaningfully engage with the substance of what he's saying. There's always like some like are you mad or who hurt you? That's a good one. God, that's infuriating. I've had so many discussions. I'm like, okay, well, this is what's going on. And they're like, well, you sound like someone who's been hurt a lot. And it's like, okay, stop. Please just don't say it. Please just engage with the substance of what I said real quick. Just engage with the substance of what I said. And they don't want to do that because they don't have the tools to do that. Remember, they live in emotion land where emotion is primacy. The emotion has primacy. So whatever your in the moment emotional experience is, that's what they're like laser focused on thinking about. Remember, because they're all in therapy and they're all obsessed with emotions and they all think emotional intelligence is the greatest possible virtue, you know? That's what all the feminist brainwashed women say they want is emotional intelligence. By the way, not that emotional intelligence is a bad thing by any means. It's great to be able to regulate your emotions and to be able to not like spaz out every time you have a feeling. Like that's a totally good thing that you absolutely should cultivate, and that's fine. But like the way that leftists talk about it, they talk about it like it's the greatest possible virtue. Like they put it above honesty, above loyalty, above patriotism, above piety. You know, there's so many other virtues you could talk about. And again, emotional intelligence is a great thing to cultivate. That's awesome. But it seems like they're obsessed. Like, I think that's why they try to shift the conversation to be about what they presume your emotions are rather than talking about the substantive issues. And I think that's really frustrating because, I mean, well, let's just look at the people in my audience. I know everybody, the people in my audience, when we talk about these things, I find they're very fact-based. They usually derive their opinions from logic, and they usually, when they talk about these issues, they want to talk about the issues, and they're prepared to talk about the issues. And it's super frustrating to just pivot the conversation randomly to whatever your individual emotional experience might be in the moment. And by the way, the goal is not to have a discussion after that. The goal is to discredit what you're saying by pointing out that you're experiencing an emotion. Whether you're experiencing an emotion or not is irrelevant. If they can stick that on you. And the cool thing about saying, oh, you mad? You mad? You mad? You mad? If you weren't mad, that might well make you mad. So again, remember, these are not real arguments. They're tactics to try to win because they're not trying to have a meaningful discussion with you. They're trying to win. Let's see. Let's check in with the chat, everybody. It's a mental challenge that results in physical change along with action. Very much so. Let's see. Physiognomy is real. These people and places they live become physically disgusting over time. It's a reflection of their values. I agree. I actually think that I think your personal sense of ethics and virtues becomes visual on the outside over time. I'm a big believer in that, which is not to say that you should judge a book by its cover, but I mean, fuck, man, look around, look at, especially because it's especially obvious in the young people. Look at people who are woke and they're like obese and they shave their heads and they've got, just like weird fucking hair colors and like septum piercings and all this shit. They've got all these weird body mods. It's weird, like the level of body modding that's like normal now that used to be like kind of like edgy and cool is now wildly normalized. And then you look at people who are ostensibly on the right and they're clean, they showered, they have nice haircuts, they have nice clothes, they're not dressed in a way that's like excessively vulgar or excessively slutty. They just look like fucking good upstanding citizens. I don't know, man. It just seems like it's I don't know, it's deeply depressing if you have to, I'm from the Pacific Northwest, so I've seen a lot of cities that used to be really beautiful that have gotten really gnarly in the past couple years, and that has coincided with the spread of wokeness. Not just into the general population, but also into how the local governments are run as well. And it's only getting worse as far as I can tell. Seattle just elected a socialist for a mayor. Now, I don't know much about that, but we're going to find out in the months to come. So I don't think what's crazy is they had a very far left mayor and he just wasn't far left enough. So it's like they thought, the problem with Seattle is that it's not far left enough. Which, I mean, for any of you who've actually been to Seattle, that was not the fucking problem with Seattle. The problem with Seattle was not an absence of left-wing politics. Shit. Anyway, now Seattle, it sucks because places like Seattle, Portland, these are places that I've gone that are beautiful. And have wonderful comedy communities, by the way. But you go there and it's like, shit, man. I remember visiting these places when I was younger and then visiting them now, and it's just, man, everything just looks so much worse. And this is true in my hometown of Spokane as well. It just looks so much worse than it used to. It sucks. It's horrible. It's horrible. And as a result of that, like, you got these people that are like miserable. They're all like wokeified, and they've got their like zonked out SSRI eyes, where they're just like, damn. It's just like, I don't know, call me old fashioned, but I don't think you should have to take pills just to feel okay walking around your city. Anyway, it's a huge bummer. I live in Las Vegas, Nevada now, which is a beautiful city. Anyway. Yes. Is it Proverbs pretty clear on this? As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Bingo. Yeah, I think that's exactly correct. See, this is what I'm talking about. I have the best fucking chat on the internet. I love when you guys just hang out and just make points. It makes my life easier because I don't have to come up with all of the content. You guys just throw things out. And that makes me sound smart because I just, because I said it, but you wrote it. So it makes me sound smart. It makes my show look smart if my audience is smart. So appreciate you guys. I have the best audience on the internet. All right, guys, we're gonna get through a couple more of these clips, and we're gonna see what tactics we see are recurrent. Let's see. What is this?
Trump got reelected. Your worst nightmare.
Okay, so he's saying if you want to know why Donald Trump got reelected, that's the point he's making. And I think what he's gonna say is trans issues or maybe some other culture war issue. I'm not 100% sure. I think it's trans issues is what he's going to say. Go ahead.
Coming true. And you all sit there on election day thinking, how on earth has this happened? Well, one of the reasons was he just stood there. Well, you can shake your head, but one of the reasons is he stood there and went, under me, if I get elected.
Okay, you can't really see because of the oh, there we go. That's good. The subtitles got out of the way. You see how smug this guy is? Wait, can I move this? Oh, I can move this. Okay. You see how smug this guy's face is? It's like his default setting is smug. That's not the face of somebody who's listening to understand. This is the face of someone who's listening for an opportunity to jump in and be snarky because he's trying to get a viral internet clip. That is not a useful way to have a discussion. So already the likelihood of having a useful discussion come out of this are basically zero. Basically zero. You can just see like the smugness. The smugness. How many of you have talked to leftists? You guys have talked to them, right? The smugness is infuriating because you guys, I have a documented history of being nice to leftists. By the way, check out that episode I did with that girl Jasmine, Touch Grass with Theocracy. If you haven't seen that, that was where I talked to this feminist for like 2 hours. We had a good discussion. I have a documented history of being nice to leftists, and it honestly does not matter. You can be as good faith as you possibly can. They are just hardwired to default to like smugness and mockery. She did fine, actually. She wasn't that bad. She was really nice to me. But in general, this person here is what I'm really talking about. The girl I talked to was like, she was fine. She was badass. Shout out to Jasmine. She's a cool girl. But yeah, they just did their default setting is it does not really matter how good faith you approach them. Their default setting in general is smug. And they're looking for, this is why I can't stand this like internet political debate culture, like the stuff that Jubilee is doing. Go ahead.
And I'm going to ban trans athletes from women's sport.
Yeah. Well,
no.
Wait, can I just respond to that
I'm going to add one thing to it, then you can respond. If you remember, Kamala Harris endorsed it, thought it was a good idea. So the first potential female president of the United States thought it was fair and equitable and safe that biological males compete in women's sport. Trump understood that most people in America, most people around the world, outside of the woke left, do not agree with that. And there's a reason we don't agree with it. Let me finish. The Olympics are coming here.
By the way, I have tried to make this point to leftists in real life, and they go apoplectic. Like, if you suggest that the trans issues or like trans women in sports, like I always cite the example of you remember when that dude beat the shit out of that little Italian girl in the Olympics in the boxing? You guys remember that? And she was like all crying and stuff. People really didn't like that. And even though the Democrats technically had nothing to do with that, people associate that kind of stuff with Democrats because that's their issue. All the people, not all Democrats are for that, but all the people who are for that are Democrats. So people are like, no. And that was a big deal. And here's the thing. Most people don't understand the economy. They don't understand monetary policy. They don't understand foreign policy, really. They don't have a good sense of what the issues that are going to affect them and how different policies are going to change things around. But they can understand that. They understand, hey, it shouldn't be allowed for big, tall dudes to beat the shit out of girls at the Olympics. That shouldn't be allowed. Like, that's really easy. Most voters can understand things at that level. It's like you may have a banger healthcare policy, but if you're letting men beat up women in public, you're gonna lose a lot of voters with that. Sorry, it just is what it is. Like I don't know what to tell you. But if you try to have this conversation with an actual leftist, they will go apoplectic. Even though that's like objectively a real analysis. That's a good analysis of like why the Democrats lost. It was like the behavior of trans activists and that one tranny, pulling out her titties on the White House lawn and all that stuff. Like that stuff, and all like the pride flags, and like there's like 1 million like pride months now. Like, I mean, people associate that with Democrats. So, and people were getting sick of it, and they were kind of with the drag queen story hour and all the women, the dudes going in the women's changing room and all that stuff. Like all that stuff. It was just like people were sick of it. People were sick of it, and they viewed Kamala Harris as the candidate that was for more of that. And they viewed Trump as the candidate that would stop it. And that was broadly speaking true. But you cannot explain this to leftists get really upset when you try to point this out. Because I don't know, but I think they view it as like a civil rights struggle. And like they think that if you are saying that men can't go into the women's locker room, that's the same thing as like segregated water fountains. Which is like a bold fucking argument, because the whole reason we have single-sex bathrooms to begin with is because after industrialization, when we built bathrooms at factories, they were they were unisex, so men and women could just go in there. Women were getting assaulted in the bathroom, so they were like, so women fought for their own bathrooms and they got them. And now, because that was so long ago, we're like, no one would ever assault anyone in a bathroom. What are you, nuts? It's just retarded. It's just retarded. I don't know what else to tell you. It's like, obviously people are going to get upset about this. And they're like, why do you care so much? He might say that. We'll see. I actually don't know what bullshit. Let's see what kind of, so basically Piers is laying out a very, very, very rational, easily understandable case that Democrats, commitment to the alphabet people was a significant contributor to them losing the election. And now we're going to see how that goes. Okay, go ahead.
Right, to Los Angeles.
And you're also wrong about Iman Khalif, by the way, yeah.
Well, I'm not wrong about Iman Khalif. Well, Iman Khalif was banned from the World Championships. She's an Algerian boxer, banned from the World Championships because of testing positive for male chromosomes, right?
That's not true.
Well, it is true.
No, so
you may not want to believe it, but it is true.
So the International Olympic Committee said that Iman Khalif was both born female. She has a female passport. Algeria, you think Algeria, the state of Algeria, recognizes trans identity? Really, Piers? Like, let's be honest with ourselves. The only institution, the institution that claimed that she.
At the end of the day, all the stuff they're quibbling about doesn't matter. It doesn't pass the eye test. You got a big tall dude with an Adam's apple beating the shit out of that little Italian girl. This is about the eye test. Like, none of this shit matters. You cannot gaslight people into saying that's okay. Like, they didn't like it. Nobody liked it. No more of that, please. And you can't gaslight people into believing that's okay. But you see how they're just like, he's just repeating the prepared talking points. At the end of the day, it doesn't pass the fucking eye test. And this is all this is don't believe what your eyes are telling you. Believe what the party is telling you. Don't believe what you can see with your eyes. Believe what the party is telling you. It's very 1984. And it's like, and if you want to talk about it, then you're a bigot. If you want to bring it up or if you have questions, then you're also a bigot. Go ahead.
Failed an unspecified gender or sex identity test was some Russian-backed organization that is not internationally recognized by the International Olympic Committee. But wait,
no.
Let me reset.
Evan, you can't say something and me not challenge you back if you're wrong.
I know, but that's exactly what you did earlier. I just need to quickly get into.
All Iman Khalif has to do is take a sex test.
Sure, okay.
They're now bringing the sex test in. Then there's no problem.
Sure.
Why do you think Iman Khalif is not taking a sex test?
Sure, I don't want you to distract from the fact that the election, there is no evidence that people voted based on their opinions on trans identity.
Let me give it to you.
Okay. That I think is delusional. I think it had a big impact, and I think everybody knows it. Now it's true that there may, I don't know, maybe there's some data that I'm pretty sure there is data confirming that. I don't have it in front of me, but we'll find out. But I mean, come on, let's be realistic. I mean, if you're thinking about like what like Joe Sixpack regular voter is concerned about, it's like hey, why are we everything costs more, and all I'm hearing from the Democrats is how men in dresses need to be in the Olympics. What? And I mean, it just seems like very out of touch. Seems very out of touch with regular people's concerns, and very out of touch with like where people are at in terms of opinion. So yeah, that's. Anyway, let's jump in on the chat real quick. My chat's been buzzing. Let's see. The smugness really is a result of two things: insecurity and an act of defense. Or the smugness stems from having an overinflated ego that's been fed. Yeah, and it's not ever having been challenged. And they're trying to, I think you're right, Kayla. I think they're trying to hide the fact that they don't really fucking know anything. They don't really know anything other than like repeating their talking points. Like, remember, these are not the most dynamic, creative, intelligent people they could find. These are people who would go up there and repeat the talking points. So these people probably aren't super good at thinking on their feet, and because they've only memorized the views that they're supposed to derive from consensus, they haven't thought through logically why they have them. So if you start challenging them on them because these the views are so logically tenuous, they will fall apart. So not good. When you look at someone in their eyes, their mouth, and watch their body mannerisms and hand motions, you could tell where the act of smugness is from. Yeah. Oh, this is a good one. For a political group that's full of atheists, you'd think they'd have more reverence for science. Yeah, these are the trust the science or believe all the science people, or believe the science. They repeat that like it's like some kind of like religious mantra, as if science is a collection of dogmatic beliefs rather than a way of acquiring information. And it's like, I think we all agree that, like, men beating up women is like not good, right? We think that would be like, it's so weird to me that like this is the feminist position is that we want men fighting women. We want men in women's sports. That's weird that that's the pro-feminist position to me. It's very odd. It's very odd. I think it's like they don't. I don't know. It's just like, it just seems very obvious to me that they don't give a shit about regular people, and they don't give a shit at all about what actually makes people's lives better. They're just looking for a way that they can virtue signal. And this is the end result of like virtue signaling and purity spiraling, is you end up believing things that are retarded, that only make sense within an echo chamber if you're never challenged. Because there's nobody in that room who is willing to take the political or social risk of saying, hey, maybe we shouldn't have men beating up women in the Olympics. Because it was like, can't do that. I'm not risking my job. I'm just going to shut up and keep my head down. And that's how terrible things happen. If people, as much as you may want to dog, people on the right for infighting, embarrassing infighting, it's like, that's what happens when there's dissent, is it's not as dogmatic and there's not as many purity spirals. No, they don't believe in science unless it pushes their narrative. I think that's exactly right. Is they only believe in whatever they have to believe to feel emotionally okay, or whatever belief is going to allow them to win. And whatever validates their worldview, they bring it up. You see this all the time. There's like stats that are presented in a super misleading way. You can present stats however you want to make whatever point you want. And you can draw whatever conclusion you want from that. And also, you could just like lie. You could just lie too. So it seems like they're really only concerned with whatever's going to win. Like, they're not actually concerned with having a substantive discussion or having a logically consistent argument. They don't care about that. Yeah, let's go ahead.
No, wait. In a Gallup 2024
There is
poll,
no evidence.
In a Gallup 2024 poll, post-election, out of 22 issues, trans issues ranked 22 out of 22.
Can I respond?
In every election in all OECD countries across the world,
Permission to
inflation
respond,
and the
Evan?
economy. Yes, but
Evan,
I just let you go on.
Let me just respond to you.
Sure.
Actually, if you read the New York Times the week after the election,
I did read the New York Times,
then you will remember a deep dive they did into it. Wait a minute, just stop talking. You want to talk all the time.
Sorry.
Show me some respect. If you want to know why Donald Trump got reelected, your worst nightmare coming true, and you all sit there on election day thinking, how on earth has this happened? Well, one of the reasons was he just stood there. You can shake your head, but one of the reasons is he stood there and went, under me, if I get elected.
That's just, but that's the point. It's like, you can't, that's, go back about itself. It's like, what's crazy about that is that he's like a dude, right? So, this is a good point. It's literal. By his own narrative, he should be speaking for women. Yeah, that's the point. It's like, it's weird that it's dudes pushing this. It's like, yeah, we should have more men boxing women. It's like men pushing it. It's like women. It's also like people who've like never done anything athletic before who are pushing this. It's like people. I think the women who actually have to, box the men are probably pretty lukewarm about it. I don't know. Might have to ask them. I don't know. And it's being pushed as like a civil rights issue, as like one of the great civil rights issues of our time. And I just don't think that that's accurate. I just don't think that's right. And that's super weird. And it's like your right to do cool stuff. Like, I don't really care if a man wants to leave his house wearing a dress, but if you want to leave your house and wear a dress and punch women, then I'm going to say no. Literally, your right to swing your fist ends where that woman's nose begins. Literally. Oh, man. That was a free one, by the way. You guys are welcome. You guys are welcome. All right, let's see what we got here. We got one more of these clips we're going to get to, and then I'm going to close out the show getting into some other clips that I want to get into. So we'll do this.
Genocide happening in Palestine. Why aren't you talking about actual victims that are going through hardship? You're writing a book about people who say astrogender, something I've never heard before, and I work in queer spaces.
Mate, time out. I literally do a show every night.
That's actually, okay, so that's actually a different leftist tactic where it's like, why are you talking about this issue when here's 100 other issues you could be talking about? Why aren't you talking about that? That's not an argument. Right? That doesn't address anything that you're saying. It doesn't address the substantive issue that you're trying to bring up. That's not that. It's especially a weak argument for Piers Morgan because he does a show every single night where he talks about a bunch of different issues. This just happens to be the thing that he's here to talk about today. So what he's actually saying is, why are we having the discussion that I signed up for in advance and agreed to appear in? Why aren't we having a discussion about a variety of other issues that I didn't agree to speak on? But why are we discussing the thing that I agreed to speak on today? Why aren't we discussing something else? And he's doing that like it's an own. Like, he's doing that like that is a winning position. So by the way, this poor woman. This poor woman's been hit hard by wokeness. And you could tell this woman would have been like a soft 7 or like a, maybe even a 9 in a small town. And now she has the boycott. She has the haircut of like the kids from Home Improvement for some reason. This is like that Jonathan Taylor Thomas haircut. And she's got the SSR eyes, RI eyes, and she's got this like face, like look on her face, like she's just like dead inside. Ugh, that's tough, man. That's a tough one to look at. Clearly, this is not genetic. You see this all the time. You people who are like otherwise like normal looking people and they go into college and they become woke and they start to look horrible as they act out their values. That really is what this is. This is a consequence of acting your values. Anyway, I didn't pause it here just to make fun of this woman's period. So that's not really the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is that thing we were talking about earlier where basically their values start to show externally. And if one of your values is that everything beautiful is bullshit and needs to be destroyed, that's going to show. Sorry.
where I talk about the wars in Ukraine and Gaza and other major issues.
I'm just talking about this topic.
I'm talking about this because I think it was very interesting to me that Donald.
That's so crazy because remember right before this when he was like, why are we talking about this topic? We could talk about other topics. And Piers is like, I do talk about other topics. And then he's like, yeah, but I'm talking about this topic though. It's like, you see what I mean? How they're not trying to have a good faith discussion. They're just trying to win. They're just going to like move the goalpost wherever it needs to be so that they can score a goal. They're not interested in consistency or logic that you can follow. They're not interested in that. They're not interested in having a real conversation with you. They're not interested in seeing where you're coming from. They're not interested in a genuine exchange of ideas. All they want is a viral clip of them dunking on Piers Morgan because that will make their career. Yeah, it's just, Kayla's nailed it. It's not an argument of a proper debate. It's a weak manipulation tactic. That's exactly right. A lot of this is what I'm saying is like when I'm comparing it to what your crazy ex-girlfriend would say or how your crazy ex-girlfriend argues. That's not me disparaging women. That's me pointing out emotional manipulation. It could be your crazy ex-boyfriend for the ladies in the audience. I know there's the shout out to the 4%. Love the 4%. But listen, ladies, if you've ever had like a super manipulative, self-involved, a boyfriend try to emotionally manipulate you, it's the same deal. All leftist arguments are just emotional manipulation. They're not trying to, or like you're a bad person if you don't agree with me, or shame. It's like shame, guilt, mockery, trying to rally the consensus against you. It's all just manipulative. It's very manipulative. And the point of it is not tethered to fact in the same way. So that makes it tough, I think, for conservative people who are really, they want their arguments to be based in fact. They want to be well researched. They want to be sure that what they're saying is right. Leftists don't have that same commitment. They don't care if what they're saying is true or not. So that puts you in a tough position, if you're going to have a discussion with them. But just keep that in mind. If you find yourself flustered when discussing things with a leftist, just remember they're using emotional manipulation. They're not using real arguments. So it's good. It's astounding that these people are on a show with Piers Morgan and Piers is not the most annoying guy in the video. Yeah, for real. Dude, let me know if I should do this. I would love to do a reaction. There's an old video of some of you internet historians know it, of Piers Morgan and Alex Jones debating the Second Amendment. It's a very old video. One's in the chat if you know it. There's also one of him debating a much younger Ben Shapiro about the Second Amendment. This happened like 10, 15 years ago. This was a long time ago that this was happening. Anyway, it was just... The video with Alex Jones particularly is fucking legendary. Yeah, so I might have to do a reaction and breakdown to that video because that's just a fun one to watch. I just enjoy it. Oh God, that was Alex Jones at his best. That was Alex Jones when he was still a full-on lunatic. Piers Morgan invited him on the show. No idea who he was. No real context for it. And he just was, yes, that's right. 1776 will commence again if you try to take our guns, Piers. Yes, that's the one. Pat Sauce knows. Shout out Pat Sauce, friend of the channel. Yeah, I might have to do a breakdown of that video. That was a lot of fun. And what's crazy is like after that was Ben Shapiro went on, and Ben Shapiro was not widely known at this point. So Ben Shapiro goes on, and I think Piers Morgan, prior to that, he debated Alex Jones, which was hilarious and very memeable. But widely, it was considered that for most normies, Alex Jones did not come off very well. I think for his people, it was awesome. And for like me at the time, I thought it was hilarious, but I didn't think it was like, it looked like he did a killer job in the debate. And then he debated Ted Nugent about gun rights. Like he brought on Ice-T at one point, or maybe I'm thinking of something else. I think he brought on Ice-T at one point. So we had debated like, at this point, Ben Shapiro was not widely known. And so Ben Shapiro comes on and just absolutely dices him up. And it was like, and that kind of put, Ben Shapiro on the map a little bit. Like for a lot of normies, that was their first exposure to Ben Shapiro. And Yeah, and I think Piers thought it was going to go a lot like the Alex Jones debate, and it was just like it became very evident very quickly. I was not how it was going to go. You know, I don't know. We might have to do a reaction to that. That Alex Jones debate was just classic. Anyway, that was where. That's what I'm saying. Is Piers Morgan is like a dork, which is like a sign of how retarded these people are. That Piers Morgan looks reasonable by comparison. Piers Morgan has always been a dork. He has never not been a dork. He's just the least dorky person in this particular YouTube short. That's it. Go ahead.
Trump got reelected. I was like, how has this happened? And I think it was partly immigration, it was partly the economy, and it was partly what the Democrats call the culture, and partly the culture wars, right? A lot of people were fed up with this.
I think it really was a big focus on the economy, and I think you're right there. And I think Trump's version of populism spoke to a lot of people who have been disenfranchised.
But also,
by
the culture war stuff, it did cut through.
It didn't, though.
Yes, it did.
That's not a big focus.
And I don't meet anybody on the woke left who will admit it.
What do you guys think? Do you think culture war? Did the culture war factor into how you guys voted? Because I know for me personally, it did. For me personally, it did. That was a big issue for me because I just because the woke stuff was just expanding and expanding and expanding, and it kept getting more and more retarded, and it seemed like it was just reaching this point of being completely delusional and just horrible for the country. And I think it was like ruining the lives of young people, and it was just like ruining the government and basically everything. It was making it harder for people to get jobs. It was like building up a lot of resentment. It's like making it was weird. I don't know. A lot of you people, all of you guys sitting here who were like 30 plus, and remember the late 90s, which was like, as far as I can tell, the peak of race relations in America. And then it's been like almost 15 years since, or 20, more than that, like 24, 25, 26 years since 1999, right? Jesus. And have race relations improved as racial awareness has improved? It's like, no, everything's horrible now. Everybody fucking hates each other. And it's like, I don't remember it being this way. And I tell you what, this is true. Maybe you guys who have been in environments like the military can sound off on this. I know from comedians, the environment where people of different races coexist and get along, it's usually because they're like engaging in a lot of racial humor. Just being real. I mean, I just know this from comedians. You know, like that actually helps people get telling everybody, shut up. You're not allowed to make jokes about the differences. We just got to acknowledge, the differences just need to happen. And we have to pretend that we don't see them, and we can't talk about them because someone somewhere might get their feelings hurt. That is a recipe for disaster as far as people getting along. As far as I can tell, amongst comedians, that's where I see people of wildly different racial and ethnic groups getting along super well. And usually it involves a lot of jokes at other people's expense. That's what I've noticed is like a key ingredient of social lubrication among people who, yeah, you get along. All right, let's see. All right, go ahead.
None of you admit it.
Because if you talk about people's economic conditions, they're not going to give a shit of who their neighbors are and what their pronouns identify as.
Right.
They just want to be able to afford meals for their kids
in a way,
and actually get health care.
Exactly. Hence why gender pronouns are pointless.
No,
it does feel like a giant waste of time. It feels like a lot of people were like, hey, why are we trying so hard to get men into women's sports when I can't afford eggs? Like a lot of people were saying that. It just makes you seem like wildly out of touch. You know, just makes you seem wildly out of touch. I don't know why that's so hard for, this is something that's super obvious to normal people and very hard for like woke people to understand for some reason. That basically their stupid ideas resulted in them losing the election. Like they have such a fucking hard time with that for some reason. And by the way, woke ideas have consequences outside of just this context. I actually want to show you guys something else. So I don't have as much time as I was hoping I'd have. I still want to wrap the show up at the 2-hour mark pretty much. But there's another video that I wanted to show you. I've been sitting on this one for a while. And this is basically woke ideas having consequences in the real world. Because it's one thing, it's like woke ideas make people super fucking annoying to talk to, and it makes it very difficult for you to have like a reasonable conversation with them. And that's definitely true too. But it also has consequences in the way people behave. Hold on, is the chat making fun of me? Okay, Grandpa, that's very nice. Let's get you back to bed now. All right, I'll let you have that one. Oh man, I really might have to do that Alex Jones video though. That might be fun. That might be a fun one. I might do that for the Patreon. By the way, sub to the Patreon, please, because I'm gonna put a bunch of new videos on there because I'm like, I got to do something with it. I've had it for a while. I haven't updated it in a while, so I'm just gonna put like some just like raw shit up there that there's nowhere else I could put it. I'm gonna cut some shorts out of it, and then I'm just gonna put the full videos on the Patreon. So subscribe to the Patreon, and if more people sub to the Patreon, then the production quality of the videos that I put on the Patreon will improve. That's kind of how it is. And also a reminder about the Stream Elements tip jar. Send me money if you feel like it, or if you don't feel like it, or, whatever. Anyways, that was kind of it. Blah, 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 leftists are retarded. Okay, fair enough. But like, this is what happened. This young woman's quite young. And we're going to listen to some very permanent life choices she is making as a result of being on the receiving end of feminist and woke propaganda her entire life. Go ahead, sweetheart.
I am 22 years old. I have no children, and I'm getting my tubes tied.
Okay.
Now, a lot of people would be very shocked by this claim. I'll tell you a few of the things that I have heard. That's such a permanent decision. Don't you think you're going to regret it one day? Oh, you're going to meet a lovely man, and you're going to want children with him one day.
Those are very reasonable things to say to a young person who wants to get their tubes tied. Go ahead. That's very reasonable to say. That's super fucking reasonable. In fact, you might say that if nobody said that to you, if you were a young woman, you were thinking about getting your tubes tied at 22 and no one said that to you, then you could very easily say that like no one around you gives a shit about you. Go ahead.
Don't take away this opportunity to have kids. Oh, but the side effects, do you realize how invasive the procedure is?
The procedure is quite invasive and it does have side effects. So basically she's just like, it would be literally like medical malpractice to not say those things to her. And she's upset. And she's upset. Go ahead.
Why don't you just use the pill instead? Why don't you just use one of the reversible hormonal methods? Why don't you use the copper IUD instead? It doesn't have hormones, so it shouldn't affect you. No. Okay? To all of this, no. My family was even able to testify on my behalf and say that I have never had an interest in having children. Didn't matter if I was with a male or a female, or any time for that matter.
Have you guys ever heard of somebody that didn't want children when they were younger but changed their mind later? Have you guys ever heard of that? It's a crazy thing. It just happens sometimes. But yeah, it does happen sometimes though. Like it's actually the most logical thing to happen. Right.
I have never once decided that I want kids in the future.
Oy.
And here's what I told my doctors to convince them that I actually want this tubal ligation. I would rather regret losing the ability to have children and my life remains the status quo than have a child that I regret that I have to commit to for the rest of my life.
That sounds good when you're 22, but the thing is your life is not going to remain the status quo. Your tits are going to sag and your back is going to bend over and your face is going to wrinkle and eventually all your friends will be dead. Because that's how life goes. Or all your friends will have their own families and they'll be like way, way, way more concerned with them than they will be with you. Your besties are not going to hang out with you when they have children. Like, that's just the reality. Like, you have to think of something to do with the second 40 years of your life. You have to think about that. And I think that's really hard to think about when you're very young. And that is why doctors strongly discourage you from engaging in permanent life-altering procedures like this one when you are very young. People try to discourage that, right? And Hold on. That's right, because and it's very often, and just like Ronald was pointing out here, everybody knows 24-year-olds are the definition of good decision makers. No 24-year-old has ever made a decision they'd come to regret. Stop hating. That's exactly right. It's exactly right, Ronald. How silly of me. No. This is so weird. I wonder, it's weird. It's one thing about, this is true of the trans issue as well. When it comes to these life-altering decisions, it's very important to people on the left that young people have the freedom to make them. And I wonder if that's because if they had a little more wisdom and they had a little more maturity, they might not choose to go through with it. And once they go through with it, their commitment is, once you're sterilized, you're fucking committed. This is true with the trans thing, and the tubal ligation thing is not, tubal ligation thing has the same net effect of like sterilizing you. Which is good because of the left is an anti-human death cult. They don't want people to have children. It's like God says, be fruitful and multiply. Leftism says, be miserable and die alone with your cats. It's literally the opposite message because, God forbid, climate change get worse or whatever, right? So it's like it's the logical downstream thought of feminism. Also, Bat Sauce points out cultural appropriation with the necklace. Very true. Good catch. Good catch. And then Strider's here. Why are we stopping idiots like this from moving themselves from the gene pool again? That's very based. I mean, that's the basic trend. The thing is, it is true that like a lot of people on the left are just like either opting not to have kids, or they're engaging in voluntary medical procedures that are rendering them unable to have kids, or they're just unfuckable. Right. So when we talk about the birth rate crisis, it's important to remember that conservatives still are above replacement rates. And it's really just like leftists who are, dying out. Yeah. And dude, and it's like, and that's what there's a lot of like, this is, go ahead.
Because in at least one of those scenarios, at least I get to choose what happens. Now, to the claim that I will meet a man one day.
By the way, nose ring. Undefeated. 100% of the time. Go ahead.
And want to have children with him. I've already met that man. I don't want children with him. I love our relationship, and he doesn't care whether or not we have kids. He is very supportive of me making this decision.
Is he very supportive of you, or does he just like that he can dump inside you without consequences? Also, he can leave you. Like, he's not committed to this. Like, he may decide to like it. Is he also 22? Oh man. It's just, it sucks because sometimes you're talking to people, you just realize they just don't understand how retarded they're being. Right? And this is from being in woke echo chambers. This is what has caused this behavior. This is woke echo chambers that are explicitly anti-humanity, anti-human life, anti-men and women getting together. And by the way, not wanting to deal with this is why, when you're wondering, this is going to be a future show. If you're wondering, why are so many men not that interested in, pursuing it's because of this shit right here. It's because of this shit right here. They're not all like this girl, but it's enough of them that it's a problem. Go ahead.
And if he wasn't supportive, he could fuck all the way off. Because I will not ever be having children for a man. As a woman, it is not my responsibility to bear children for a man.
False. It is your responsibility. You owe it to your ancestors, you owe it to your society, and you owe it to the future. You owe it to the future to create the future. You owe it to future generations to create future generations. You owe it to your ancestors who sacrificed and scrapped and clawed to get here to create future generations. You do have a duty to your society. So that's actually completely wrong. Not for a man. You don't owe any particular man children, but you owe it to your ancestors and to future generations and to your society and to God to create the future. Yeah, and it's not just you. Like, we all owe that. That's to the best of our ability. Some of us, it's not the path that we're called to, but for most people, most of the time, it's like the most significant contribution you can make to human posterity. So yes, you do have a responsibility to do that. Yeah. But if like Strider's saying here is like, if your religion is an anti-human death cult, then you don't feel that way. Let's see. Leftism is a religion of death. Nature itself abhors it because nature itself desires to create more life. Leftist entire philosophy is a crime against nature. It really is. It's like it's super counterproductive. And what's crazy is these people are obsessed with avoiding suffering and earthly happiness. And yet by obsessing over happiness and avoiding suffering, they end up suffering constantly. They end up being in a constant state of suffering. Huge bummer. Huge bummer. Yeah, she says that now until she becomes 38 and sees her friends happy with families. Yeah, that's the thing. That's really hard to imagine. When everybody's willing to hang out with you when you're 22, then yeah, it's awesome. But then it's like really fucking hard to imagine like the future where everybody's like busy with their shit and it's like just you. Bro, tell me about it. Bro, I had 4 of my homies get married in the last year. You know? And even prior to that, I've noticed this pattern throughout my life. Once my friends get married, their wives don't want me hanging out with them. That has been a consistent pattern. They think I'm a bad influence. What's crazy is like I've had friends like have crazy shit happen and then blame it on me, even though I wasn't there. So how'd you guys end up at the strip club? It was Theo's idea. Theo wasn't in the city. Theo was in a whole different town. Theo was in a different state. How was this Theo's fault? Bro, it's like the fucking boogeyman. It's like, no wonder your wife doesn't want us hanging out together. Every time you get caught doing some stupid shit, you blame it on me. It's hard, man. People don't understand the pressure of being like the bachelor friend. You guys don't understand. You guys don't understand what I go through for you. Anyway.
But that being said, I'm glad I'm not in that situation. God bless. Now, for the other 2 claims, here's the thing about hormonal birth control and how invasive the procedure is for the tubal ligation. First of all, at least with the tubal ligation, I get general anesthesia. I have undergone several IUD insertions and removals at this point, and they are so incredibly painful.
I believe her on that. That it's like super unpleasant to do an IUD. I totally believe that. That seems unpleasant. I'm not disputing that. I don't know how the tubal ligation is going to be better, but I agree. I'll buy that.
I never got any pain management or anything. I did them completely raw. And let me tell you, I think that those are way more invasive, especially since you're awake, than being under general anesthesia and getting a little slip and a snip. Not to mention, I think having unalive ideation with every hormonal birth control method is invasive enough. It's not like I haven't tried them all. I have. The common denominator is all of them made me severely depressed. Let's start with the Nexaplanon. As you can see, I'm not BSing you. I did actually get the Nexaplanon when I was 16. Intense unexplained weight gain. I was an athlete. I practiced almost 7 days a week. And I was gaining weight like crazy. And when you are that young, and when your dream job is to model, and when you just want to feel beautiful in your own body, that is mentally devastating.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. I agree with her. Unexpected weight gain sucks for sure. Also, like, begs the question though: why is it necessary to? Why are we? Is it weird? Run with me on this. Is it weird that we're just like by default put all the teenagers on hormonal birth control? Is that like a normal thing that we should we're sure is like a good idea? It's like, hey, let's like start fucking with their hormones like while they're still developing into adults. Is that while they're basically, children and they're not like fully developed yet? Let's start fucking with their hormones while they're still growing and developing. Is that are we 100% sure that's a good thing to do? Are we 100% sure it's good to have all of the women on hormonal birth control at the same time? Because I know if you fuck with people's hormones, it definitely affects how they act. It affects how they think about stuff. It affects how they, process the world. It affects what they're attracted to. We got data on all this. So are we 100% sure that's even a good idea? So I'm actually a little bit sympathetic to her argument here. It's like, I'm sure hormonal birth control seems like it fucking sucks. I'm with you on that, But like, I don't know if the solution is like, get your tubes tied. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I'll follow you there, but like, I'm actually like not I'm not really disagreeing with her. I think it's like super fucked that we like, put a bunch of, we automatically like almost by default put children on hormonal birth control. That's like a super weird choice. I mean, I understand we don't want them getting pregnant, but like, like fucking with their hormones seems like it's going to have lasting consequences that we maybe haven't thought about fully. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not an expert, but I bet she did them completely wrong. That's what I was thinking too. I just didn't want to say anything. I'm glad you guys got it. Yeah, this is right. She wouldn't need birth control if she'd throw it back for everyone in college. Yeah, that's the point. Is like, oh man. But that's the conversation. Is that like maybe people shouldn't be like, going to the degeneracy pits in college, but like. But then we're having a conversation about like social and moral standards and like what people should and should not be doing and ought not be doing, and like whether or not we should have some kind of meaningful sexual morality in this country, or if you should just like do whatever the fuck you feel like. And I guarantee you, if you asked her, she's very much in the do whatever you feel like category. She's doing this in part because she. I think she's been brainwashed by wokeness and by feminism to think that children are a problem. It seems like she doesn't really like men all that much. I'm probably is like terrified of motherhood. And also she wants to get dumped in without consequences. That's the other thing too. So, all right. That makes you happy, sweetheart, I guess. But
not to mention the breakthrough bleeding, which has always been a problem with me on every birth control method.
Really?
I shouldn't have to bleed every day of my silly little life just because you won't give me a tubal. Now, you would probably say, oh, what about the shot? It's quick and easy and doesn't require any invasive procedures. Okay, I bled for the entire time that I was on that shot.
So fun fact, you don't have to share any of this with other people. Fun fact, if you like have, if you're undergoing a medical, actually don't need to hear about it at all. I don't need to hear about anybody else's birth control methods at all. Like this does not have to be shared publicly. You could just keep all of this to yourself, which is crazy. You can just keep all of this to yourself. This is not necessary to even share. And by the way, this kind of shit is like, why? Can you imagine like having to date a woman like this? Can you imagine? Can you imagine having to like have a conversation with this person? It just seems like a nightmare. It just seems like a nightmare. It just seems like having to, have a meaningful discussion with someone who we're coming up on, we're over the 2-hour mark now. So I'll probably I have a bunch more videos I want to get through. I'll probably save them for my show tomorrow, Touch Grass. What were you talking about that? But this is like the kind of the point. It's like the wokeness and the fucking public sluttiness and the all this stuff. Downstream of this, it's like making women extremely, extremely difficult to deal with. Like, it's not just annoying political debates, and it's not just like comedians' wives being obnoxious on TikTok. It's like just like this is trickling down to like regular everyday people. Like this is like a regular, otherwise normal person probably. I mean, I don't know what her deal is. Like maybe she's had like a really fucked up time of it or whatever, but she seems like just like an otherwise normal person who just caught the woke virus and is going to then make a bunch of permanent decisions that are going to affect the rest of her life based on propaganda. And like, I'm not trying to be a dick about this, but she seems very emotionally worked up. She seems very pissed off about this whole situation. And look, if I was her and I had had all the bad experiences she supposedly had on hormonal birth control, I would be like, yeah, I probably wouldn't want to do it either. Right. But she thinks that she has to do something to sterilize herself because that's normal in this culture. Like she could also just be abstinent or, I guess use condoms too. I don't know. Like if you must, fuck somebody, you could just use condoms, I guess. Like if you must fuck, you can use condoms. But she's like, no, I have to do something to sterilize. What am I going to do? Just walk around not sterilized? I have to do something to sterilize myself, and I can't use exogenous hormones because it has all these disastrous consequences. And I can't insert a device inside myself because that causes me extreme pain. So I'm going to have an invasive and permanent surgery as a result. Because I'm not going to, what am I going to do? Not sterilize myself like a lunatic? Like a weirdo? Because that's what everyone else is doing. That's what's normal. I guess my point is, it's like, why is that what we decided is normal? Are we doing normal correctly? Is my question. This is Strider. Fun fact, she doesn't have to do any of this. No, none of this is necessary for public consumption. That's the other thing is, like, we're analyzing the situation. Part of it is like, why would you share any of this publicly? For the love of fuck, why are you sharing this with people? God, can you imagine? And this is like, I think this kind of stuff is a big reason why. And we're gonna get into more of this on my other show, Touch Grass. But it's like, this is why, if you're wondering why men are not approaching women, it's this shit. It's just being inundated with this shit. And the other thing, then in addition to that, it's not only, this is one side of it, and the other side of it is like all the messaging that's telling men that they're, that the fact that they're like existing in a woman's presence is, potentially predatory. And it's like, I think it was like women doing a worldwide witch hunt to make flirting illegal. And then partially this shit. And then they're like, why can't people get along? I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on. But we're going to get to the bottom of it on this show. All right, folks, it's been really fun hanging out with you guys, but I'm over the 2-hour mark now. It's been a lot of fun doing the show. Thank you very much for watching. It has been an exquisite pleasure hanging out with you today. My name is Theo Snodgrass. I'm a comedian and podcaster out of Las Vegas, Nevada. I do this show, Theocracy, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, 11 a.m. Pacific time. I also do my panel show, Touch Grass with Theo Snodgrass, 11 a.m. Pacific time Saturdays. Really just check in on this channel at 11 a.m. My goal is to get up to 6 streams a week. We're doing 4 right now. So that's what I can do. Although I have a bunch of like hangover content now. So I've a bunch of leftover content now. So I probably have enough material that I could have done 6 streams this week. So we'll see if that continues. I got to get through some of it. We got to get through some of it on my show, on my panel show tomorrow. That's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure to check that out. Anyway, I have been Theo Snodgrass. I have been your intrepid host. I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up. Please enjoy the intro to my panel show as the outro to this show. Thank you very much.
Look at that crack. Stanley's crack look good. Chris Johnson crack look good. Well, look at my crack. No. Look at that crack.
Are we looking at Arz's cat now?
Yes. Sorry, I didn't hear a damn thing you said.
All right.
And because I was a gazillionaire and I like doing it so much, I cut that price for free.
The species is dying. The birth rate is plummeting. Women are chopped. But yeah, you know what? Get a fucking cat.